All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for carving time out of your busy day to join us for this live webinar on our newest version of SiteLINK, SiteLINK Genesis. In the house today, we have Senior Technical Project Manager, Carmen Manganello.
Good afternoon.
Director of Product Management, Ian Owano.
Hello.
And I am Manager of Customer Success, Jason Brandt. On the agenda, we'll talk about what SiteLINK Genesis means, what's in the name. We'll discuss our process of designing and developing Genesis with the focus on its new templates. We'll take you on a tour through a mock-up of our first base template, highlighting its more prominent features, as well as a peek at other base templates soon to be available. We'll then take a moment to discuss the most impactful new features in Genesis and how they'll help your business. Finally, we'll reveal its release date and hold a Q&A session at the end. And as a reminder, we encourage you to enter your questions in the Q&A panel throughout the presentation as they come to mind. So, SiteLINK Genesis. What this means to us is a reset of the foundation of the tightest e-commerce integration you can have with Mom. The reset opens the door for future expansion right in the same version. By future expansion, we mean this groundwork gives us the ability to not only implement brand new features going forward, but also expand on and improve existing features all in real time, all in the same version. You see, just like Mom and its routine program updates, we've adopted the same continuous development approach. This approach is customer-centric, increasing the feedback loop between Freestyle and SiteLINK users. The ideas and requests we've heard from you directly shape the development, and you'll see evidence of that today. With that said, I'd like to take a moment here to thank our client base. Your feedback has been invaluable and instrumental in guiding our roadmap. So now, Carmen, could you elaborate on this a bit with a comparison of the Genesis approach versus our previous SiteLINK approach?
Sure. Thank you, Jason. For years, SiteLINK's approach has been to provide a single core template, customizing each store individually to meet the specific needs of our clients. Any significant updates to design or functionality had to wait for a new version of SiteLINK, which typically arrived every few years. While this flexibility has been beneficial to us, we've recognized that it also brought challenges. It increased the project time and support complexity. With SiteLINK Genesis, we're changing that by offering a variety of fresh templates, each packed with enhanced features. Plus, you'll have the flexibility to mix and match design elements across different templates, giving you more options right out of the box.
Thanks for that. So not only have we taken the time investment and support complexity into, we've also worked to ensure SiteLINK Genesis has its most impactful new features and that they'll be available for all current SiteLINK users. So plainly put, Mom version 10 is the minimum requirement for SiteLINK today, and it stays that way with the release of SiteLINK Genesis. So Carmen, can you tell us a little bit more about the Genesis approach in the context of its templates?
Of course. So we gathered feedback from client engagements, studied non-SiteLINK eCommerce sites, and compiled the list of features and design elements that are now considered essential. From that research, we prioritize that matter most. The homepage, because it's the first impression and needs curb appeal. The department and product listing pages, which should feel clean and inviting. And the product detail pages to better highlight products and encourage sales. So what makes SiteLINK Genesis a step up from SiteLINK 10? A fresh, updated design that enhances both aesthetics and user experience. A revamped cart page designed for a smoother, more intuitive shopping experience. Expanded remarketing options now built right into the platform for greater reach and engagement. And more value out of the box. More content on the homepage and more content equals less customization.
And less customization sounds good to me. So as Carmen mentioned SiteLINK 10, I'd like to highlight that the later version of 10 introduced our responsive design template. As you may know, responsive design creates a seamless experience for your customers between desktop and mobile presentations of your site. So I say this to point out that if you're not on a responsive design template of SiteLink currently, the ever increasing number of mobile users may no longer have the optimal experience navigating your site. So, especially in these cases, the move to SiteLink Genesis will have an immediate and substantial impact on your customer's first impression of your business. So, Carmen, let's dive deeper with the full walkthrough of one of our new base templates filled out with products, images, and content.
Starting with the top navigation, we have a fresh look and layout. At the very top of the page, we have a new announcement bar. Now, why is that significant? Want to bring attention to a promo or a free shipping discount? Remind your shoppers that there's only days left to save or announce operational updates? This new feature can be used to highlight important information for shoppers without interrupting their browsing or checkout experience. We also have a section with social media icons displayed prominently in the announcement bar to the upper left. Both features are, of course, editable via SiteLink Admin. The store logo, department, and informational page navigation are spread out across the full width of the screen, easy to read and navigate. On the right, we have new icons for search, account information, wish list, and basket. I also want to bring attention to our new shopper account modal login. Shoppers can now log in directly through a streamlined modal. No need to navigate to a login page. Once logged in, a drop-down menu appears under the account icon, giving quick access to key links. This keeps all account-related actions in one convenient place. Shoppers can click on the account link to go to the main account page for a set of duplicated links as well.
So, what I'm hearing here is that shoppers with accounts who are already familiar with the site benefit immediately from the convenience of accessing and navigating their account options.
That is correct. Moving further down the page, we have a rotating banner used for highlighting products and departments. Right beneath that, a content block. I can add custom text for SiteLink Admin using a WYSIWYG editor. We have a brand new featured department callout section in an attention-grabbing 4-image format. A new announcement ticker section to provide more communication and key updates to shoppers. And we have 3 featured product carousels, each of which can be labeled for your specific needs. So right now we have a September sale carousel, we have a bestseller, and we have a clearance. So we have all 3 turned on, and you can label these as per your needs. A single department spotlight section, another featured department callout section, and a new highlighted brand section as well. Last but not least, we also have a revised global footer with social media icon display duplicated from the top nav.
Nice. So you can really see how this gives you flexibility to showcase what matters to your business. The admin configurability options let you modify its presentation at will. So what you start with isn't what you have to live with, and you can control all that yourself. So would you tell us a little bit more about how this differs from the previous SiteLink version?
Sure. On previous versions of SiteLink, we offered one simplified homepage template. You could have had our professional services team customize the site to add more content, but that was added complexity, time, and cost. With SiteLink Genesis, there are more ways to spotlight products and departments with different presentations right out of the box, and these can all be administered via SiteLink Admin. So if you want to have one featured product carousel active at a time, the other 2 can be disabled in SiteLink Admin. You want to highlight a new product line and a new department created in MOM, or show off clearance or sale items, that could be accomplished just by activating those sections in SiteLink Admin. Basically, turn them on and off as needed. And for demonstration purposes, we have everything turned on. So moving beyond the home page, we have a freshened department listing page. So previously, department pages only displayed sub-departments. You can see those here. But now we've added a featured products carousel. This pulls in products from across the sub-department tree, giving shoppers an at-a-glance view of what's inside. That allows them to get an immediate look at what's available without extra clicks. Jason, could you show us the new product listing page?
The product listing page, as you know, shows you products available in that particular department. In all current versions of SiteLink, the page has the option to present in grid view or list view. So with Genesis, both presentations have been updated for a cleaner look, though we'll just cover the more popular grid view today. Larger update on grid view, slightly increased image display, a bit more information showing under the thumbnail, and for the first time, includes the ability to add to cart right from the product listing page. So it saves a few clicks for the shopper who would otherwise need to click into the product and add it to cart. And if they know what they want, why not save that click and let them move on to add the next icon? I'm sorry, the next item. So if I draw your attention to the bottom right of this page, while I scroll down, note the appearance of a back to top icon. And that also includes a scroll progress indicator as you move down the page, something especially useful for mobile shoppers lost in a department with 50 items. Now, if I can draw your attention back to the top of the page, as I begin to scroll up, you can see what we call the floating header. If the shopper is ready to navigate away from the page, we've just made it that easy that they can click from here, or they can simply click the back to top icon. Now, there are two other features not displayed on this page that are new for Genesis. The first relates to product labels that help highlight new or clearance items. These new labels will appear over top of the thumbnail and can be configured on the product level in MOM. There's configurability around how long the labels display, so you don't have to worry about removing the labels individually later on. I mean, how long do you really want an item to show as new? It's really up to you. So the other feature ties to the sort option, as you can see here. Now, my favorite sort option as a shopper tends to be low to high. But as a merchant, you might disagree. So in SiteLink admin, you can configure this department specifically, for example, to load immediately by popularity. And tomorrow, if you change your mind, you can have this department display from high to low. So, as you can see, like the end caps on the supermarket aisles, it's really another opportunity for you to highlight the products you want front and center to your shoppers. So, as something as a routine as the product listing page here, you can see the value added through convenience. So this is one way that ought to improve engagement with your shopper while allowing you configurability options you can actually set and forget. So Carmen, if you would, could you show us the product detail page?
The product detail page offers a fresh look consistent with the rest of the site. Some new touches include additional thumbnail images displayed to the left of the product image versus below the image previously. Product information is now displayed in tabs to better highlight key product details. Product reviews are also displayed in the tab section. Advanced search fields, which can be used as an advanced search function of sorts, are tied to existing MOM functionality and have a more prominent look. The floating header, as Jason mentioned before, that also carries over from the product listing page. And now we have a new floating footer that keeps some important product details on the screen as the shopper scrolls to the bottom of the page. So next, I want to show you the new add to cart experience in SiteLink Genesis. In the past, when a shopper added an item to their cart, they were redirected away from the page that they were on. Now we've added something many clients have been asking for, a modal cart pop-up. With this new flow, shoppers can add an item without losing their place, which makes browsing and buying much smoother. Another nice addition is that the modal cart can be opened or closed at any time from non-checkout pages, so shoppers can quickly check what's in their cart without extra clicks or navigation. Now moving on to the basket page. We have a completely redesigned cart page with a new, more intuitive layout. Estimate shipping and promo entry fields are in the right column. They're more defined so that shoppers can easily find them. You now have a choice of location of promo entry display, either the cart page or the checkout page. So we have them on in both places now just for a demonstration. And also that could be maintained via setting and SiteLink admin. The ability to save a cart to the shopper account from the basket page is also a new feature. Shoppers can now store their cart contents to their shopper account, which can be restored to any device. A new available payment methods section tells the shopper which payment methods are offered on the store checkout. Now, Jason, why don't you take us through the rest of the checkout process?
Sure thing. But before we leave this page, I want to take a moment to highlight the saved cart feature. So this has been one of the most popular requests, and I want to double down that it is a standard feature in Genesis. Thanks again to the client base. Now, the ability for your shopper to save the cart and come back later on a different device, on a different day is paramount to increasing conversions, once again, through convenience. So moving on to the checkout process. Once again, fresh look with your standard options. For shipping, you can still do it to the billing address, choose a name from the address book, or choose the store pickup option if the merchant offers it. We'll go with same as billing here, though. And carrying the cleaner look through the checkout page, the order total is more prominent with your typical billing and shipping details and so on. And just below the order total, at the bottom, you'll see the promo code entry that Carmen mentioned on the cart page. And as we have it turned on in both places, just to show you the options. But again, you'll be able to choose one position or the other through SiteLINK admin. Not only is that born of several requests, but the standard fields below it are now also configurable from SiteLINK admin in Genesis. The source, the special instructions, the order hold date, the order and shipping instructions can all be individually turned off from admin. Finally, down to the payment methods, we've enabled them all to illustrate the options already available in SiteLINK. Now, if you don't already use points and rewards, for example, this is a reminder of one more way to engage with your customers. You'll notice a new player off to the right, and that is Google Pay. So this confirms it will indeed be available with SiteLINK Genesis at launch. And yes, we've heard and logged requests for Apple Pay as well. So of course, once payment is submitted, you're taken to the standard thank you or receipt page, ending this presentation of our base template. So Carmen, can you give us a peek at a couple of the other base templates soon to be available?
I'd be happy to. We have a couple of options to show, though these are without content and images, unlike the first template in this presentation. This is just a taste of what's available. Each of these has its own unique look and layout. Some feature different approaches to top navigation, including a browse all categories, or even a shortened, simpler navigation bar if you want more of the Pages Center content visible above the fold. You'll also notice variety in how products and departments are showcased, from department spotlights and call-out sections to different carousel styles for featured items. The idea is that you can pick a template that best matches your brand and your shopper's needs, while still taking advantage of the same powerful e-commerce functionality. While each template has its own style, we can also help you mix and match elements between them. That way you don't have to imagine what a change might look like. You can actually see it. So, in summary, SiteLINK Genesis marks a major shift, moving from a single basic template to multiple options, each with more content and flexibility built in. That means less reliance on customization and more choices from day one. These are brand new, ready-to-go designs that give your store a fresh look right out of the box. For the first time, you'll have multiple templates to choose from, packed with more content and features right out of the box. The result is a faster, easier path to a modern storefront with less need for custom projects.
Thanks, Carmen. I think that's a great summary of the path of SiteLink Genesis is on. The visual look helps understand the impact and benefit of Genesis for both the merchant and shoppers on day one the site is live. Now, let's discuss the features that have as big of an impact, but behind the scenes. On the design front, we've shown you a few templates, discussed the new and clearance product labels, and the ability to configure the default sort of individual department listing pages. The next most impactful set of features revolve around re-engagement with your customers. We discussed saved carts. And then my favorite on this list is SMTP email, because it's also a foundation that drives the ability to re-engage with your customer in more ways than before. Now, as mom users, by default, your customer notices are set up using your existing corporate email account. This is most popularly Office 365, Gmail, and a few others. So in the same way as mom, you'll set this up in SiteLink admin. Now, this ought to be a relief to your email administrator, who will now see 100% of corporate emails using the software and consistently manage the increasing security around. Even more to the point, SMTP email is a feature that will become standard for all current SiteLink versions, not just Genesis. Now with SMTP, we've tied in two new major email features as standard with Genesis. The back-end stock email adds an option on the product detail page. So if the item is out of stock, the shopper can notice when it's back in stock. Pretty straightforward. If you don't want to offer this feature, it'll be configurable to turn on or off from admin. Now with SiteLink, you may already be aware of the visibility into abandoned carts using the admin abandoned cart report. So with Genesis, we expand on this functionality by adding the ability to send emails to remind your customer they've left something in the cart. This is something that you may currently be paying a third party for. So not only is this email an improvement over the abandoned cart functionality, you'll be able to quantify these emails are leading to conversions using a new admin report for it. So that is, you'll know that sending the abandoned cart email to shopper A resulted in that order being placed. Now, wrapping up on the email front, you'll have control to manage the content of all these emails in the same way you do the order confirmation today, all from admin, and that's even going to include the shopper password reset email as well. So the idea here is that with simple control over the email content, you can enrich these communications to your customers using the WYSIWYG editor and admin. If you got a sale coming up, you could add it to any or all your customer-facing emails, including the shopper password reset if you want. You want to offer a discount once on an item that comes back in stock, you can limit it to those emails. And I don't know, why not also use these emails to advertise new items, and the options are up to you. Now, under convenience, a popular request is the ability to add additional pages of content to the site. So maybe you want to tell the story of the founder on its own page. Maybe you want to list out standard shipping rates on a separate page on the site. With Genesis, you'll be able to create and populate the content on these pages your own through SiteLink admin. No more need for a professional services engagement for that request. On the convenience side, well, at least on the convenience side for your shopper, of course, both Google Pay and card on file functionality are available with SiteLink Genesis right out of the box. Google address validation provides more convenience for the shopper, who can more quickly navigate the fields whenever entering an address. Also pretty straightforward and helpful to speed up the process toward checkout. Touching on security updates, we'll offer additional controls to protect your SiteLink admin access. You can already set up individual SiteLink users and profiles. So to add to that, multi-factor authentication will be available, as well as the ability to whitelist access to admin by IP address. The introduction of a changelog will help you to review any suspicious activity. If you're missing an order record from admin for some reason, now you can review the log and see that the user named Sleepy somehow did it. So as you can see, the SiteLink development team has put in a tremendous amount of effort to reset the foundation of the platform to better serve our merchants and their customers going forward. So Carmen, with all this great work you've helped champion for us, I'm sure the people want to know when they can get their hands on it. What say you?
So we are in the wrapping up phase of the project right now and moving things into QA. We are targeting mid to late October.
All right, so folks can get their hands on this in just a few weeks, and that sounds good to me, just in time for spooky season. So as we head into our Q&A section, we'd like to thank you all again for your involvement in steering the direction of SiteLink Genesis. We're really excited to move forward with this, enabling our merchants to fully realize the benefits we outlined today. So please bear with us for a moment, and we will review any questions that are in the panel to provide some answers live. Thank you.
So we have our first question here. What about quick order functionality?
Sure thing. Quick order will remain unchanged. So we're curious about if there's any expansion to that you'd be looking for. And if you can let us know if there's a secondary question to follow that up, I'd appreciate that. But that quick order functionality will remain unchanged.
Jason, I see a lot of similar questions here regarding if they can access a demo site so they can explore and tinker around the demo site. Do we have plans around that?
Yes, typically in the past, we have had a demo site at at a URL you could reach. So taking on this request, we want to make sure that we can do that. The fact that there will be a few templates, that's a detail that we'll work out. But yes, make sure that we have that available, something you can play with a bit.
There's another question here, just pretty basic here. Can you explain the meaning of template?
Yeah, hopefully that was answered by the demonstration as we showed off a couple of the templates later in the webinar. So all the templates will have a unique look and feel, like a different presentation of the top nav and the center content area of the homepage. So basically, different presentations of featured departments, some slight variations of that.
We have another question here, pretty much summarizing how the upgrade process would be like and what that's going to take.
That varies depending on your needs. If you're going to go with something that's very much template, then we would create a site for you, and then you would upload your all your products and your images, and we would go from there. If there's any customization beyond that, functional customization especially, then there would be a bit more of a process involved. We will have available mixing and matching of some elements from some of the different templates. So if you like a top navigation from one template, but you like most of the rest of another, we could swap that in for you initially at the beginning of the project. We're hoping to make that part of the process a little bit easier. So there's less effort involved for us. So there would still be a slight customization fee for that, but it wouldn't be as time consuming and there wouldn't be as much effort involved.
Guys, we have a lot of questions regarding costs to upgrade. Can you guys take that on?
Yep, thanks for that. So, as Carmen touched on, some of it depends on whether or not the template itself is good enough for you and what changes are needed. Like you mentioned, we're hoping to swap out certain elements across the template, which gives us room when we expand on an element or change an element across the board or improve it. The idea is that if we can keep the elements the same, excuse me, for the most part, the cost is limited. Now, when it comes to the actual cost of upgrading, there's always been a SiteLINK template setup cost. So as you mentioned in the recent email, there will be some incentives for folks on Software for Life and freestyle payments. And we'll formally send that out when we send out the formal release of SiteLINK Genesis. Something else to mention while we're here is that we want to improve on the communication loop. So currently we've had a number of requests for different things that we've incorporated in SiteLINK Genesis. We already have a few requests on backlog that we want to make sure get into the product. Things like, being able to check out with Apple Pay. After this release, we will be formalizing those lists so that we can let you know ahead of time what we're planning to release coming up. And once again, the idea is if it's closer to the template as you are, we are expecting to add these features in, just like you do with MOM program updates when there's something new. So there's no additional cost for that, as long as we can add it in without breaking something that was customized, if that makes sense now. So thank you.
Guys, we have 3 or 4 questions around size color product with variations. How's that going to be in the new template?
That's going to be pretty much carryover for now. Just the fact that we have the multiple templates that we're offering that in SiteLINK, that was a pretty major change for us. So we kind of focused a lot of our efforts there, and we have done some redesigning some of the features elsewhere in the template. But we do have a plan to continue releasing updates before there's a new version of SiteLINK. So again, we want this to be ongoing. So we will be taking a look at some of those other features.
In a sense, we want this to be the last version of SiteLINK that you have to purchase, because it will continue to expand.
2 questions here. It's 2 parts. Is image zoom built in, and will they still be able to access FTP?
That is a yes to both questions. Image zoom will be built into the template just like it currently is, and you will absolutely have FTP access to the site.
Staying with the image kind of topic, there's a question around resizing all current photos on the website. Is that going to be required for the new template?
That it's actually going to be very dependent on whether you're currently on responsive. That's going to be a lot easier to display in the new template. So it's really going to depend on how good your images are. But it's certainly possible that you won't have to make changes to your images.
On the product detail page, there is a question regarding product specification. Is that something that's available?
Basically, what's standard is the full description and the product reviews. We'll review the request for other tabs. It should be easy. It should be easy enough to add. We might even use an admin interface so that you could pick fields from there.
There's a question regarding plugins to the new template with a chat help software like Talk or a plugin like MailChimp. Is that something that's compatible with the template?
It should be. It should be compatible, and it's probably doable as a support request.
There's a question regarding if the PowerPoint is going to be available and the screenshot that we showed today.
Yes. The PowerPoint, both the PowerPoint and the video will be posted. Actually, the videos now are posted to our YouTube account. So by tomorrow, there should be an email being sent out to link you to see both the presentation and the video, not necessarily screenshots in the presentation. If you very specifically would like some screenshots, it's easier to share, then let us know.
There's a question, when we swap to a template, will it work with a website staging so that we can get everything fitted appropriately before going live with it?
When you purchase the new version of SiteLink, a new template, you will get a staging site, and you can do what you need to do with that staging site. I think the question was, will everything get fitted appropriately before going live with it? Well, you'll have the site to work on and straighten out, upload your images, et cetera, and put your content on there. But you can take your time with that.
There's a question about Google Pay. How is that going to come into Mom?
So what's nice about the Google Pay option is that it is part of the authorized.net payment form. So because it's going that route, it will actually come in as a credit card, and pretty much no different than a credit card.
We have a question here. What do you mean when you purchase a new version to SiteLink? I thought this was available with SiteLink 10. If you're already on 10, do we need to purchase something?
Good clarifying question. So this is a new version of SiteLink Genesis, instead of going with SiteLink 11 or 12 or 13. So the underpinnings are a bit different in expectations of future expansion on the same version. So you can remain on Mom 10 and still take advantage of SiteLink Genesis. So, in other words, you don't have to upgrade Mom to start using SiteLink Genesis. So that barrier is removed. And then once again, to moving to this platform, one of the ideas here is that you have less customization, and less customization, which allows you to take advantage of that future expansion and improvements of other features. So even with FTP access, you may have to be careful about what exactly you're changing, because if you break the link essentially from, say, how the carousel functions, then when we issue some update or some improvement to the carousel or maybe to how it displays or part of the display, then that will require extra effort or professional services engagement to add those features to your version of the carousel, just as one example.
Another question here, is the store locator built into the homepage functionality?
So I have to admit that was a little bit of a tease. So we have the idea of it, and that's something that we have on the list for a future update. But there's more to explore there before we can take it on.
So basically, if you like it and it seems like there's some interest there, that's something that we want to pursue.
Right, and your feedback will help give that a little bit more priority on the list.
Back to questions regarding variations. I know you guys answered it that the current variation is going to be carried over to the new template. Are there any plans for improving, or what are we doing with that moving forward?
Yes, we're already looking at various options for displaying variations differently on the product page. Of course, we can do customization, but the theme here is kind of we're trying to do less customization. So we do want to create options, various display options, and that is in the works.
And also a reminder that while we will continue to use the feedback loop to help prioritize what changes go first. So while we have another round of releases that we're grooming the list of, we'll continue to let us know what you want, and the more interest we have in each type of request, like I said, we'll continue to prioritize it on the list for us to put out in the future release.
All right, I think that was the last of the questions I saw coming in, guys. Jason, you want to close us out?
Yes, sir. So I want to thank you all again for, spending your time with us today. Open tickets as you need, as any other questions come up, open support tickets as you need to request any additional features. Said continue to do that. We'll increase the communication and the feedback loop so that we can be aligned with what you need. So this first look at SiteLink Genesis has what your appetite for spooky season, and and we look forward to more communication with you over time as Genesis is released and so forth. So we'll go ahead and conclude the webinar. You'll have a great day and great rest of your week. Thank you.